This is the Microschool Minute, your weekly dose of microschooling news and events.
Class is back in session, and so are we. So welcome back for Season 3 of the Microschool Minute podcast. If you're new to the show, each week we dive into the latest headlines, trends, and stories shaping the world of personalized learning. And for our returning listeners and Microschool pioneers, a huge thank you for your continued support. Just like the first day of school, we've got a fresh start with a whole batch of news to unpack. So let's dive in. In this week's edition of the Microschool Minute, a new tide of parent-driven education reform is sweeping the nation, as revealed by the 2025 Parent Power Index from the Center for Education Reform. With Florida, Arizona, and Indiana leading the charge, states are increasingly empowering families to choose or even create their ideal learning environments. This year's index exposes how smart policy shifts like education savings accounts and voucher-supported microschools are moving the sector from incremental options to bold transformative change. More than 100 data points track how state laws shape not just access, but also true educational freedom, spotlighting both the trailblazers and the stragglers. For founders and innovators, the message couldn't be any clearer. Policy is opportunity. As more states prioritize parent choice and flexibility, microschools are flourishing, fueled by demand for personalized, values-driven education. The Parent Power Index shows that when leaders listen to families, removing red tape, increasing funding, and making data easy to navigate, dynamic models like microschools are no longer a fringe experiment, but a mainstream movement. The future of education, it seems, is being written not just in legislative halls, but one empowered parent and microschool at a time. The shape of American K-12 education is being fundamentally transformed as parents, empowered by their dissatisfaction with public school systems and a broader menu of choice, step into the role of activated decision makers. A convergence of forces, expanded public school choice, declining confidence in the traditional district model, and the proliferation of public funding for private education have led to a pluralistic, family-driven education landscape. This week, national district-level changes, such as Austin, Texas Independent School District's current school consolidation process, further illustrate the systematic effect of declining enrollment and shifting parent preferences. With tens of thousands of unused seats and persistent budget deficits, the district is reorganizing to provide viable, well-resourced schools amid an era of choice. New reports show that homeschooling has rocketed from the margins to the mainstream, with rates nearly doubling in just the last 5 years, and bring microschools along for the ride. This is more than a COVID aftershock, but it's a seismic shift in how American families perceive education, family roles, and autonomy. From Missouri to New York, parents are voting with their feet, seeking flexible, values-aligned learning environments for their children. Microschools, small, personalized education hubs, have surged in popularity, powered by new technologies, online curricula, and policy changes like expanded education savings accounts. The motivations run deep. Some families cite dissatisfaction with traditional curriculum, others seek safety, customization, or a chance to reclaim childhood and family life on their own terms. Yet this renaissance of home and micro-based learning doesn't exist in a vacuum. While enrollment in public schools drops, new research shows the trend can't be pinned solely on homeschooling or private options. Declining birth rates and migration patterns play a starring role as well. This demographic shift is reshaping the entire education landscape, even as microschools thrive on their promise of agility and personalization. The microschool movement is both a symptom and a signal, challenging innovators to reimagine what learning can look like and families take the lead. Let's face it, few debates get education leaders clutching their ergonomic chairs quite like the tug-of-war between parental rights and student privacy. On one side, parents insisting on front-row seats to every chapter of their child's educational story. On the other side, students, sometimes even the youngest ones, fighting for a little privacy in the school corridor. The latest Kansas investigations throw a spotlight on the awkward dance between need to know and right to know, with FERPA and Title IX as the chaperones. 4 school districts, Topeka, Shawnee, Olaf, and Kansas City, just found themselves front and center in a federal investigation drama worthy of a binge-worthy miniseries. The Department of Education's Office for Civil Rights and Student Privacy Policy Office have cracked open the case after allegations that these schools let students pick sports teams and lockers based on gender identity instead of biological sex. Oh, and did they forget to tell parents? Allegedly, yes. This isn't just a slap on the wrist. The federal departments are sniffing around for possible violations of both Title IX, the classic Equal Opportunity in Education law, and FERPA, which basically gives parents the keys to their kids' educational kingdom. If violations are confirmed, federal funding could be on the chopping block. If you run a microschool, you know this balance isn't theoretical, but it's your daily puzzle. Personalized learning means tailoring the experience for the child, but it also means navigating who's in the loop and when. Recent developments in both research and practice have brought executive function skills to the forefront for microschools, serving neurodivergent and twice exceptional students. Leaders are recognizing that challenges with organization, motivation, and task initiation are rarely about want, but most always about can't, the result of lagging executive function skills rather than lack of effort or discipline. This isn't just a matter of academic success, but a foundation for lifelong learning, adaptability, and independence. Innovative microschools are moving beyond generic tools like planners and checklists, but new research reveals that understanding that these only work if the underlying executive function mind muscles are nurtured. Instead, microschools are encouraged to build daily routines, scaffold transitions, embed skills, practice into students' passions, and create emotionally safe spaces for trial and error, modeling self-advocacy and metacognition for both students and families. By focusing on progress and not perfection, celebrating the small wins, microschool leaders are not only supporting neurodivergent learners, but are also creating blueprints for all future-facing educational communities. Recent federal actions to abruptly shut down all income-driven repayment plans have left nearly 43 million student loan borrowers, including many educators, public service workers, and microschool leaders, in financial limbo. The move comes alongside broader governmental signals of restructuring or even closing the Department of Education, creating deep uncertainty for those relying upon clear, accessible education finance policy. Lawsuits from major organizations like the American Federation of Teachers highlights the very real consequences: loss of access to affordable payment options, stalled progress towards public service loan forgiveness, and increased operational confusion for educational institutions of all sizes. For the microschool sector, these legal and policy shifts are especially consequential. Microschools depend upon the creativity, stability, and well-being of their educator leaders, many of whom carry significant student debt. The sudden cessation of IDR plans not only undermines teacher morale and retention, but also challenges the financial models of small, innovative schools. As traditional education support systems become less reliable, microschool leaders and education futurists must now consider new pathways to support their staff, advocate for policy clarity, and ensure that alternative learning communities remain accessible, resilient, and attractive. Florida is leading a major shift in the United States education landscape, now with over half, that's 51% of K-12 students, now attending a school other than their zoned neighborhood school. This shift, driven by school choice policies, education savings accounts, and deploying options, is more pronounced than in any other state apart from Arizona. While nationally most students still attend their local public school, Florida's numbers continue to grow, showing what's possible when families are empowered to choose. The rise of education savings accounts, while still only funding about 1% of all students, is supporting a growing number of microschools that has already helped to normalize alternative schooling choices like home, private, and microschooling. This week's Microschool Showcase takes us out west. As the school year approaches, families in Utah are increasingly considering microschools like Elite Performance Prep Academy as a viable alternative to traditional education systems. Located in West Valley City, this new microschool offers a tailored educational experience with a focus on individual student needs. The Academy's unique approach allows for quick adaptation of teaching methods, ensuring that each student's learning journey is both personalized and effective. Recent legislative changes in Utah have recognized microschools as small businesses, enhancing their operational flexibility and enabling families to access state scholarship funds for tuition. These developments signal a positive shift in the microschool landscape, setting the tone for other states to follow suit, ditching unnecessary regulation in exchange for a brighter future. If you know of a microschool or organization that deserves a shout-out, drop a line and let us know. Thank you for tuning in to the Microschool Minute, your weekly review of microschooling news and events. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you've enjoyed this episode, consider leaving a review. Until next time, happy microschooling.